I saw a brief post on Princess Diana this morning while I was looking at my Facebook. So I wanted to look up what the books have to say about Diana. I'm in volume 7, and there is a beautiful photo on the front cover here, so I will include a picture of it. Sculpture, top left, Cretan figure of the Minoan mother goddess, ivory and gold. Top right, Mexican figure, pre-Columbian period. Bottom left, Egyptian portrait head of Queen Nefertiti, about 1370 BC. Bottom right, Chinese glazed pottery figure, Ming Dynasty. So I'll show those pictures. And let's see what we have to say about Diana. Page 2366. Diana, D-I-A-N-A, a Roman nature goddess, in later times identified with the Greek goddess Artemis. In earlier times, Diana was believed to aid women in childbirth and to protect the forests. After the identification of Diana with Artemis, her characteristics were similar to those of her Greek prototype, and she was best known as goddess of the moon and of the chase. Her festival was celebrated on August 13th. Each successive priest of Diana was traditionally a runaway slave who had plucked a certain bough in the woods and then subdued his predecessor in combat. The worship of Diana centered from early times in a grove, Latin Nemus, N-E-M-U-S, near A-R-I-C-I-A, Aricia, the Nemus Diana. And I can't make this out. The Nemus, D-I-A-N, I'm not sure if that's an O or a C or what that is, D-I-A-N something E. The shrine was moved to the Aventine Hill in Rome, according to tradition in the 7th century BC by Servius Tullius, T-U-L-L-I-U-S. Diana, Temple of, a structure built in the 4th century BC at Ephesus in Syria by the Greek architect Dinocrates, and regarded as one of the 7 wonders of the world. From the 8th century BC, the site was the seat of the worship of the Asiatic nature goddess, whom the Greeks identified with Artemis. Legend told of many temples which were burned before Ephesians at the close of the 7th or the beginning of the 6th century BC. Began the erection of a series of famous temples to Artemis. In the time of Croesus, king of Lydia, 546 BC, a large temple was begun which apparently had 2 rows of 8 columns across the front and the rear, and 2 rows of 20 columns on each side. In this statement, the corner columns have been counted twice. According to the Roman historian Pliny, 120 years elapsed before it was completed, but this statement has been challenged on the ground that the sculptured bases of the columns and the frieze and cornice all belong to the period of King Croesus, who contributed largely to the building. This temple was burned in 356 BC by Herostratus. The fire seems to have destroyed only a part of the temple, and its reconstruction was at once begun under the direction of Dinocrates. This structure came to be regarded as one of the wonders of the world. Its columns of great diameter were over 60 feet high. This temple, sacred to Artemis, identified by the Romans with Diana, seems to have been plundered and perhaps burned by the Goths in 262 AD. The temple was, however, restored and lasted till the Emperor Theodosius, by an edict, closed the pagan temples. Its stones were then used in the building of a great cathedral of St. John on a hill nearby. Of these structures, some remains were found by the English archaeologist J.T. Wood, who conducted excavations at Ephesus from 1863 to 1874, though not till December 1869 was the true site determined. In 1904 through 05, D.G. Hogarth, under commission from the British Museum, re-examined the site. Beneath Wood's earliest temple, he found remains of 3 earlier shrines and a rich array of offerings belonging to the earliest sanctuary. These offerings, which included many fine objects of Hellenic workmanship, among them the earliest known coins of Electrum, prove that there was a sanctuary on this site long before the time of Croesus. Sculptures and fragments of the architecture of the various temples are now in the British Museum. So too is part of the treasure found by Hogarth. In the temple were many fine works of art. Statues of Amazons by Phidias. I'm going to spell this one Polyclitus. Cresilas, Cresilas, and Fradmon, Phradmon, and a painting by Apelles, Apelles, I hope I've pronounced those correctly, which represented Alexander the Great as holding a thunderbolt. So there you go, that's what it has to say about Diana, and that was all on page 2366. There are no other photos to go with this passage, so the only one that will be here is the one from the front cover. Thanks for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day. Sincerest, Kimba.